Hello, welcome back to the free Makeup Masters app. Today I wanted to do a focused in review of an eyeshadow palette. It's not a sponsored one before you start thinking, oh here we go, she's just doing it for money. It's one that I've ordered and it's had a lot of hype and a lot of people have been using it. So it's the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette, and I was drawn to it because it's got amazing combination of ones with a slight shimmer, matte, but they have got a lot of warm undertones. You've got the berries and the golds and the red bricky undertones, which I do love for my makeup. I think they're amazing, especially if you've got green eyes or blue eyes, because they're really going to pull out the colour. I have only recently got it, so I had my first experiment today, and as you can see I tried to get as many on my eye as possible. I'm really impressed by the consistency of these eyeshadows. They're super pigmented, and I'm going to do a little swatch for you. If I was doing skincare or something, I would use it for a long time, but these I haven't had a reaction as such, though red pigment ones, if you're quite sensitive, you do need to be a bit more careful with them. From the lightest shade Tempura, which is a matte with a slight satin creamy finish to it, so really good as your neutral undertone before to help you blend or just as a highlight. Then there's Golden Ochre, which has that burnt yellow undertone of really amazing mid-tone again if you want that almost tea stained earthy yellow undertone. Then Vermeer is a highlighting shade. It's got a little bit more of a pinky undertone to it, but really great for brightening around the eyes. Then the Buon Fresco, which is a mauvey undertone eyeshadow. It's quite sort of similar undertone to Quarry, if you like that from MAC, but it does seem to be a little bit more pigmented. Then you have the Antique Bronze, which has a little bit more of a pinky undertone, and it's got a sheen to this one and a very fine sparkle. Then Love Letter, which is, oh, it's just dreamy. I love Love Letter. It's so creamy and velvety. It's a matte texture. I don't think this swatch really does it justice, just because it's so pigmented. It doesn't look like it blends that easily, but it honestly, it does blend and it does look divine if you really want a punchy pink. Then there's Cypress Umber, which is your matte brown, sort of a deep burnt brown one, so great if you just want a normal smoky brown eye. Raw Sienna, which is another one of my favourite ones, just for that neutral sort of amber undertone, so it's got a little bit of warmth, but it's going to be an amazing mid-tone just to blend it out, but it's not too strong. Then there's Burnt Orange, which clues in the name, so a nice creamy sort of wearable orange, again an amazing mid-tone just to warm it up, and it would work beautifully on deeper skin tones. Then there's Primavera, did I say that right? I don't know. A shimmering champagne gold, but slightly towards the yellow undertone of gold. Then Red Ochre, which is another one of my favourite ones. So it's got a red undertone, but it's mixed in with brown, so it's still really wearable and will really bring out green in eyes. Then there's Ventian Red. I feel like I should know these words. This one is a similar undertone to Love Letter, though it's got a little bit more red in it, and it's a bit more of a satin finish, so it's almost got a wee bit of shimmer threaded through it, but very fine. Then there's Warm Taupe, which is another mid-tone, but towards the cooler side of mid-tone in the palette. And then there's, last but not least, Real Gar. So it's a burnt orange, but a bit more vibrant than the burnt orange before, so it got a little bit more of a kick. It comes with a little eyeshadow brush, so one with a softer end and one with a sort of synthetic firmer end. I would probably not use that as much. I would tend to use it. It looks like it'd be really nice for concealer. That's probably a little bit too maybe scratchy to get a really perfect seamless blend, but I will have an experiment and let you know again afterwards. I specifically wanted to cover this palette as well because it's very rare that I get a palette that I actually love all of the shades in it, and I know they're not going to be for everyone's taste, especially if you love really ultra natural makeup, but if you're into makeup, definitely great for experimenting and playing with different shades. I'm probably most in love with at the moment Veteran Red. Did I say that right? I don't know. I'm dyslexic. It's fine. Or the Red Ochre, and I could definitely see, just for a natural daytime look, I'd love like the Raw Sienna, mixing it maybe with a bit of the Tempera just on the lid, just for that warmth. In the eyeshadow palette, what does it say? I think it's 7 grams worth, and so each eyeshadow is 0.2 grams. That means anything to you if you're technically minded and you want to know exactly how much you're getting in your palette. I ordered it from Beauty Bay and it did come really quickly. You may get a little bit of drop down with it. It's so pigmented that a lot of product comes out onto your brush and it can kick back a little bit, so if you're not into that sort of thing that might bother you, but for me it's worth it. If I'm going to get a pigmented eyeshadow and be able to blend it easily, I'm going to be happy, and so I'm definitely going to do a few more looks of this to show you soon. This palette is limited edition, but they do have some of the shades in their regular line, though I heard in the palette people prefer the texture, like it seems to differ somewhat to the individual ones. So far I'm in love with the texture of these eyeshadows. It's really hard to find really pigmented, especially matte eyeshadows. They're easy to blend, you can get good payoff without having to spend ages building. Definitely worth the hype, I would say, for this one. My down point would be that the velvety luxurious packaging, which is beautiful, and when you open it up you're like, oh, but then I know it's just gonna get filthy. It's already a bit grubby and I've only used it once, so that would be a bit of a down point for me, but who cares if you're gonna look good. This would be for people who I suppose are a bit more confident with eyeshadows because they are quite pigmented, and some people are scared of those warmer undertones. I've only had a brief play with it today, just whacking on loads just to see and experiment with the pigmentation, but I will be doing a lot more looks incorporating this, and I can always do another review of it if you want to see it further down the line. But thank you so much for watching and see you very soon.